Friday mark here. For those of you who are interested in purchasing my worldwide dry blood and metabolic testing package, and also for those of you that have purchased my testing and would like a little bit more information about the process we follow from ordering to actually having a consult. And also I've included in this video a little bit more content in regards to what's actually included. Okay, because I know when a lot of people order this testing, often I get the feedback to say, oh, I've got the bloods, are we ready to go? And I just want to outline, I want to really emphasize the fact that the bloods are very important, of course, but there's a lot more to this testing than just the bloods. Okay, so I'm going to quickly take you through. So to actually access the ordering page, and where there's a little bit more information I'll show you in a minute, right now we go to www.biosenergypro.com. Okay, it's a page I've been using for the last 2 years. I will be changing this. It will be accessible through my new platform soon, but right now that's where we go. Okay, let's get up a full page here. So this is the order page where you can pay for the testing, but also find out a little bit more information as well. So we've got a video at the top here. You can see here where I've outlined what's included. So we've got the dry blood testing, we've got the metabolic profiling. Now the metabolic profiling is via a number of via a questionnaire, and also via a number of self-tests, things like sugar readings, pH readings, blood pressure readings, breath rates, and stuff like that. So I can get a really good holistic profile of where your body chemistry and your metabolic profile is right now. Okay. I provide a customized healing protocol, and we'll see an example of that in a minute. So everybody's going to be different. Right? Everyone's biologically different. I think most of you know that by now, and therefore every protocol needs to be customized to that difference. And that's what I provide with this testing. It's very unique because a lot of people are actually providing sort of standardized protocols. I focus on the person, not necessarily the condition. Okay. So the healing protocol, and look, we have a 1 hour Zoom consult where I actually take you through, and and explain everything from the bloods to the imbalance guide, from the self-testing and the questionnaire. I'll take you through the whole of the recommendations, the protocol. And I guess the whole process of this whole hour is not just about me sitting back here and telling you stuff. It's an educational process as well. I'm all about education. I'm all about getting as much information I can across to you, articulated in a way that obviously you can understand. Because at the end of the day, a lot of this healing stuff, healing work, gets back to you. I can provide the facilitation. I can provide the testing and the profiling of what's going on. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to actually be motivated enough to actually do something about it and follow the protocol. And I can almost guarantee you, with the majority, I've worked with nearly 2,000 people, over 2,000 people over the last 10 years, and I can guarantee you that if we actually follow protocol, we actually do what I ask you to do, I can almost guarantee, I won't guarantee because it's not always going to happen, but in general, for the biggest potential people out there, we actually get some great progress through this, but you have to do what I ask you to do. And if you're not doing what I ask you to do, I can almost guarantee things aren't going to come into line. Okay, let's scroll down here a little bit more. Just a picture here with the bloods, and just a few more examples of what we can see. There's a video there for taking a dry blood sample, so you can have a quick look to see what's involved. It's very, very simple. You will also get a link to this when you get your letter, your email once you've ordered. And down the bottom here, just a little bit more detail about what are we assessing with this. And you come down the bottom here, you've got the dry bloods, but what else are we assessing with the self-test and the questionnaire? What other information are we gathering, and what are we profiling? And that's what this covers here. So we're looking at digestion. Everything gets back to digestion, yeah? But when digestion has been out for a long enough time, what happens is that can manifest other problems that will need to be looked at. It's not just a matter of going back to digestion. So digestion's right at the top. Digestion is where it's at and where we can make some big inroads. But there are a number of other imbalances which can hijack that process, and this is why we do this testing. This is why we do this profiling. So we look at digestion, and most people that are going to be working with me are going to have digestive challenges for sure. The electrolytes. Do we have the switch turned on in the first place? Did we have the means to move energy around the body? we don't have a copper wire, we have electrolytes. We have minerals and electrolytes within our body which are used to be able to conduct electricity, to move electrons around the body. And it's the first thing I check with people. Because if we don't have the power switch turned on in the first place, what's the point of doing anything? There's very little, okay? So there's a hierarchy in all this as well. There's a hierarchy, there's a level of importance that I follow with everything I do. Because there's no point doing something here when we've got to do this first, because it's just a waste of time. Okay, so the hydration, circadian rhythm, your cell membrane profile. This is very important. This is the second most important system in our body. It's the circadian rhythm, whether our membranes are opening and closing as they should. We open in the morning, we close at night. If that doesn't happen, our whole system's going to be out of whack. And if our whole system's going to be out of whack, what's the point of doing anything else? There is none. Okay? The energy production. So whether our body are we burning? Do we have a balanced system where we're burning carbs and we're burning fats, or are we stuck in one or the other? It's really, really important, obviously, for the energy production. Acid-alkaline balance. We profile that as well. I mean, at the end of the day, the acid-alkaline balance, the last couple of things here, the acid-alkaline balance and the autonomic nervous system. We profile these, but these two systems are less important than the first three, the electrolytes, the circadian rhythm, the membranes, and also the energy production. Okay? The pH in the autonomic nervous system, especially the autonomic nervous system, is a reactionary system. It will react to stresses in the body. So if we've got stresses up here with electrolytes, if our membranes aren't cycling as they should, and we've got problems with energy production, the chances are we're going to have a nervous system that's out of whack, trying to take up the slack. And also that's going to be reflected in the pHs as well. They're sort of, the pHs and the nervous system is really sort of the outcome of what's going on, how the body's responding. So we don't necessarily go in and deal with those directly. Okay, we do some tests to be able to profile free radicals, antioxidants. A lot of that's done through the bloods. Protein metabolism, we see a lot of that through the bloods and some of the self-testing as well. Obviously, if we're not digesting protein, we're not bringing in the building blocks to life, and we're going to cause a heap of other problems because of the low stomach acid, which is why we're not getting the proteins in the first place. And then we've got the dry blood down the bottom there. Okay, the testing process. Look, have a look at that. I'm not going to go through in detail here, but essentially, I get the order. Say you're ordering from the USA. I'll get the order today. I'll zap you an email straight away confirming the order, giving you some links, and I'll take you to that letter in a minute. We ship everything express now to the US and other countries outside of Australia. The UK, I have someone in the UK, so it's very, very quick in the UK. But the US and other countries outside of Australia, it's all going to be express shipping now, so it's quite quick. But look, at the end of the day, I aim for a 4-week turnaround. Okay, a 10 day to 2 weeks to get your bloods, get your sample to you in the first place. It's very important once you take that sample to get it back as straight as possible, because that's as quick as possible, because that's what's going to take the longest time. Now, if you can take that, get it back, do your self-testing, get all that submitted to me, I'm looking at about 4 weeks when I should have everything on my desk. I've got everything to do the consult, and then I book you in for a consult. And I'm looking with the consult, I'm looking to try and book you in within a week. Sometimes a little bit quicker, sometimes it's a little bit longer, okay? But basically, I work at this 6-7 days a week. I work with people all around the globe. There are some awkward time zones and whatnot, so I do work a lot of hours, and I work a lot of days. I tend to work on the weekend as well. So I do try and fit people in as well as I can, so we can get this process over and done with as quick as possible to get you moving on your protocol. Okay, let's have a look at the letter. Okay, so once you've ordered the kit, this is the email you get. Okay, once again, I'm not going to go through in detail, but I'm just going to just highlight and emphasize a couple of important links here. Okay, this one here, this is the self-testing online form. Okay, you'll click on that, you'll go to my website, and there's an online form where you enter all the data from your self-test, your pHs, your blood pressures and whatnot, right down to a yes or no questionnaire, extensive questionnaire. It's really important that you do, I guess when I say it's really important, it's important that you realize that this is in addition to the bloods. Okay, so click on that, have a look at it. When you do fill out the form, make sure that you actually have all the information, you're ready to do the whole lot. at once, because once you start filling out halfway through, if you were to not save it, you're going to lose all the data. Okay. The other link here is the link for the video to demonstrate how to do actually take the sample of blood. Okay, it's a very simple process. It's just a finger prick with a pricker, which you get as part of the kit. But it's obviously it's going to help if you can watch a video and you can see how to do it. Very, very, very rarely do I ever get a sample back that's been corrupted, if you like. It hasn't been done properly. It's a very, very simple process. Okay, so that's what you'll get when you order. Look, if you don't get this letter after a couple of days from ordering, please send me a message, send me an email, just to prompt me to make sure that one, I've actually sent it, or I may have sent it to an email address which was on the PayPal order that isn't relevant anymore. That can happen sometimes, but please just get back to me. The ideal way to get back to me is send me a PM via the Facebook if you're actually linked that way. Okay, so I'm just going to take you through the process I follow when we go through the consult, so you get an idea of what's included and the sort of detail I'll get into. Okay, first up, bloods. Just to recap with the bloods, remembering the bloods, we look at the bloods as like the visual representation about what's going on in the body. Not only do we have stresses in the body, but where in the body do those stresses lay? And if we see them in the blood, we know the body's struggling. We can still have things going on in the body, but they're not necessarily going to show up in the blood. It's not a big deal. It's just stuff, and we'll pick that up through the other testing, and we'll be able to correct it before it does become a problem. But once we start seeing it in the blood, we know it's something that needs to be addressed. Okay. So I'll just quickly take you through. Most of you have probably already seen an example before, but you'll notice at the top left-hand side that every time I produce one of these reports, we have a bit of a baseline there. The top left-hand side is an example of in an ideal world, what would a perfectly healthy person's blood look like, and that's on the left-hand side. And any discolorations, blemishes, or marks or dark bits or light bits or whatever can tell me a little bit more about what's going on, not just what's going on, but where in the body it's going on. Okay, let's quickly take you through, just very, very quickly. There's a liver spot up here. This page here, you can start to see some black spots here. Number 2, that's parasites here. Number 3, this line here, that's some structural stress. It's probably something to do with the neck. Come down here to 4 and 5, you can see the darker center area here, that's dysbiosis, there's some gut stuff going on. We've got the dark little spots again, that's parasites, markers of parasites. You come over to number 5 here, and you'll see one of the things for parasites is parasites pee ammonia. Ammonia is very, very viscous, it thickens the blood, and it puts a great strain on the cardiovascular system. This is why parasites are such a pain, such an obstacle to healing. We've got to get them out if they're there. Okay, it's not just the parasite itself, the fact that it's living off of you and stealing your energy. It's biological waste of ammonia, and ammonia is very, very toxic. And like I said, it thickens the blood, it makes it more viscous, and it puts quite a stress on the cardiovascular system. And you look at number 5, you can see these dark red areas. There's one up here in number 3 as well. This is a sign of cardiovascular stress. Doesn't mean the cardiovascular system or the heart is in trouble. It just means it's working a lot harder than it needs to, and this is where a lot of fatigue comes from. Okay, we have people with chronic fatigue with a bloodstream full of ammonia and a heart that's trying to get circulation happening. Heart's a big muscle. You use up an enormous amount of energy to do this, and you're not really aware of it. So it's a big deal when we come across parasites. Removing parasites can actually be life-changing for lots of people. Okay, quickly come down here, you can see parasites again, the black spots, right in the middle here. This is in the middle of us. This is our reproductive, our digestion, our gut. And we can see we've got some stress there, darker area there, there's some inflammation and whatnot in the gut, bit of dysbiosis. Number 7, these white patches, well, they're white, they're coming through a little bit yellow, but this is in the lymphatic area, so we know we've got some lymphatic congestion here. Come down here, you've got a darker area here. Look, this is dysbiosis, more gut stuff. But on the outer edge, you'll notice, if we quickly go back here, just quickly, I'll quickly go up to the top. You'll see that black webbing on the example here of the sample of the example of a good sample. This black webbing is fibrin. It's a protein. It's a clotting protein. So to have that clotting protein show up so well and so well defined with your test, we know you must have good protein content in the body. Okay, and and if we come down here, you can start to see number 4 and number 5. Where is that webbing? Okay, so lacking protein. Why are we lacking protein? Probably because we have low stomach acid. Why have we got parasites? Probably because we got low stomach acid. Why have we got congested lymphatic system? Probably because we got low stomach acid. Okay, you can start to see the links. When we see one thing, we see another. We see the parasites, we see the low protein, we see the lymphatic stress, we see the cardiovascular stress, and you can start to see how we start, when I start going through this process of analysis and consultation, how we start piecing the jigsaw puzzle together, and by the time we get to it, we're all on the same we're all on the same level, and I'll understand what's going on. Okay, let's come down here again. That number 8, you can see around the edge, severely lacking of that fibrin, which means we're lacking in protein, which means we're probably lacking in hydrochloric acid, and once again, there's very little that's ever going to happen to you, either good or either mild or degenerative diseases, so cancer and whatnot. If you look back far enough, you're probably going to come across low stomach acid. Number 9, you can see this little line here. That's a little bit of it's structural stress. The darker areas here, once again, parasites. Come down here, structural stress, any line, structural stress here, poor fibrin and some parasites there. A little bit of a close-up there, no big deal there. Number 12 here, this is a little bit of a close-up. You'll notice as we do a close-up here, one of the things with the bloods, when we get these white patches, I'll zoom up and to see if I can see any sialic acid beads. See these? These are little sialic acid beads. I guess they're just another confirmation that the tissues are very acidic and the tissues are breaking down right now, and it's important to understand that. Okay, so that's the blood. So we go through the bloods. We have a look at that. I talk to the client. We discuss a few things, and we just make sure that we're happy that what we're seeing here is a reflection of everything else that's going on. It's a reflection of what's happening in that person's life. Okay, so this is what I call the imbalance guide. This is a reflection of all the self-testing you did and the questionnaire you did. So the blood sugars, the pHs, the breath rates, all these other things, blood pressures and whatnot. This is where it's all entered in, and also all the other yes or no questions as well. This is where we start to really build up a profile in regards to focusing on your healing mechanism. Okay, now if we were to look underneath the bonnet of a car, for instance, lift up the bonnet. We have an engine. The engine is how the car moves. The engine is what gives the car the energy to actually move. But if we were to look at the engine, we'd notice that the engine is made up of a number of components. It's not just one thing. There are a number of components, and they must all be working in sync. They must be all tuned. They must be all in balance for the actual engine to run properly and the car to move. Okay? Now, if we were to look underneath the bonnet of our healing mechanisms, we'll see that we also have a number of components. These components are diphasic, so there are two sides, and you'll see on these boxes there are two sides, except for digestion. Okay. Now, each one of these boxes represents a component within the healing mechanisms that must be in balance for our body to heal. Okay, if our body's not healing, it's not the problem of the symptom or the condition or the disease. It's a problem of the body's ability to be able to actually to have the resources to be able to heal you. Because of course, your body's doing nothing else other than trying to heal you 24/7. If you're not healed, it's because it's having problems healing you. It's not the problem of the condition. Okay, so we have 5 key mechanisms. These are the key mechanisms within the body that must be in balance for our body to heal. And then we've got digestion, which sits above everything. And like I said before, digestion is one of these areas that most people are going to need some work. Okay, there's also a hierarchy. You'll notice they're numbered. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, number 1, 2, and 3 are the most important. I might have touched on this a little bit earlier. So I'll just quickly whisk through this. Okay, we've got the electrolyte balance. We talked about that before. If we do not have the power switched on in the first place, what's the point of doing anything? We must fix up this electrolyte. It's going to be related back to digestion for sure, but there's some other things we can do, some other minerals and some other specialized supplements that can help push this back into getting your body to actually either uptake the minerals in the first place and the electrolytes and actually hold on to them. So that's number 1. Number 2, the circadian rhythm. I talked about that before as well. This is all about the cell membranes. We've got to be really careful with these, make sure we profile them well, because if we get stuck in one or the other, we really start to put, especially in the anaerobic, the anabolic, which is low oxygen, this is when we can start running into chronic fatigue, low energy, and also start to manifest an environment within our tissues that are low in oxygen. If that happens, of course, we start to put ourselves into a higher risk of manifesting tumours, because this is the environment tumours like to will manifest. And we've got the energy production down here. You'll find a lot of people that I work with actually are slow oxidizers. We have problems with burning through sugars. Look, low stomach acid, low sugars, pH is out of whack. These are three areas that are very, very, very big. Why are they there? There's a lot of combination of things going on. Stress, pancreas, liver out of whack, gallbladder, all these sorts of things. And we address these through this process. Okay. So energy production, you've got the autonomic nervous system and you've got the pH balance. Now, like I said before, these last two boxes here really sort of are like the tail of the biological dog. They will move according to these three. So we start fixing up this area up here and we start working on the cell membranes and get some energy production happening efficiently, you'll find that quite often that the nervous system will start to come back into balance, because we're not fighting fires anymore. Yeah, we're not spending so much energy trying to deal with a system that's out of balance. Okay, when that happens, of course, what's it going to do with that energy? It's going to start diverting it to actually healing you, as opposed to maintaining status quo. Okay, and we come down to the bottom here, you can see digestion. This is where it's all at for most people. Okay, so I'm profiling here how well your digestion, whether you've got good stomach acid levels, whether your liver's working properly, whether your gallbladder's working properly, is your pancreas working properly, do we have the right pHs in the digestive tract to actually be able to extract that those minerals. This is what this digestion is all about, okay? And like I said, most people are going to have a challenge here. Okay, so I'll take you through the bloods. We have a look at this, and you can see I've highlighted in red at the top areas that of concern that I would talk to the client about, and we may actually address specifically these systems directly. Okay, give you just a quick run through to get a bit of a feel for what the protocol looks like. Like I said, they will be different. Some of the items on here will be common for everybody, but the difference, as you move down this list, you'll start to see some other items here that are going to be specific to that person's chemistry. If we were to do one or the other, it's going to have a massive, big impact on whether you're going to help someone heal or actually push them in the wrong direction. This is the beauty of just doing this testing. We really get to get very, very specific about targeting and making sure that we're doing it at the right level, at the right time, and the right quantities. Okay. Now there's a hierarchy. I mentioned before, there's a hierarchy to everything I do, and there's also a hierarchy for the protocol. Okay. Now when I recommend a protocol, look, there's a million things that I can give you. There's so many wonderful things we can do. With this protocol, it's a one-off. We're doing a one-off testing. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to consolidate and keep things as minimal as possible with the most impact you're likely to get with actually pushing your system back into balance without taking a whole long list of supplements. Okay, so there are more you could take, but this is the area, this is the list that I recommend, and this is the list that I can almost guarantee if you start actually following this and you start going through and doing this religiously every day, things are going to change. They can't not. Okay? So right at the top, getting back to this hierarchy, grounding, filtered water. Look, if we don't ground, if we don't drink enough water, what's the point of doing anything? Okay? Grounding is going to help us balance our electrical circuits and making sure that our body is well balanced electrically, doesn't have any blockages, it can talk to itself, its brain tells its body to do something, it does it and actually get back to its brain and say, this is what I did. These are the things that can be interrupted when we have energy blockages because we're not grounding, because we're walking around in rubber-soled shoes for the last 25 years. Okay? It's very, very important. It's very important for keeping the blood flowing as well, because it helps to decoagulate blood and get that flow going. With filtered water, look, very, very important, of course, because the river of life, our bloodstream, is 75 to 80% water. So if we don't have sufficient hydration, how is our river of life actually going to flow? How are we going to get nutrition into the cells? How are we going to get toxins out of the cells? Right? Life is all about flow. Flow is all about movement. Okay, so making sure we're drinking enough sufficient water is going to be very, very important. These are standard, as you probably worked out. Boron, or borax, very, very standard. Everybody should be taking this stuff. It's very, very important for bone health. It's good for the endocrine system. It's good for inflammation and whatnot. MSM is not going to be recommended to everybody. But as you can see, we start coming down now. We've grounded, we've taken some water, we're getting some basics in there, we're getting some boron, we're going to take some MSM, we're going to give everything a good clear out, we're going to work on the liver. And as we come down here, I added some other things, Tulsi powder, which is probably the most powerful therapeutic powder you can possibly buy. I recommend Tulsi powder to everybody. It's one of these powders I take on a daily basis. It's so good. It works on so many areas. As you can see here, adrenals, hormonal system, insomnia, thyroid, nervous system. Is there any one of these items that aren't going to be a problem to most people that have a problem with their health? Okay. And this example, because we have parasites, we've got a parasite cleanse. When we do a parasite cleanse, we must also take ornithine, because it's the L-ornithine that's going to help remove the ammonia. Okay. And then we come down here, chromium. We've got high sugars, so we may take some chromium. Magnesium, everybody's got to take magnesium. I recommend magnesium malate. And then we've got the digestive subs here. Okay, digestazyme. Typically, I will use Empirical Labs products, and the 3 products I use for digestion, especially for the first month: digestazyme, betaine HCl, and beet flow. These 3 together will turn your life around if you've got trouble with digestion, and I can almost guarantee you will. Okay, and there's a couple of things down the bottom here. All right, down the bottom, you can see at the bottom of this is you actually get a copy of these PDFs. Okay, and we actually talk them through. You're looking at my screen on Zoom when I talk you through, so you'll see what I'm seeing right now. Okay, a little bit of information there about the coaching that I do, and down the bottom here, you'll see. Look, I cover so much in a 1 hour session. A lot of it's going to go over the top of your head. No big deal. You're going to forget some of the stuff. No big deal, because I summarize everything down here, and also summarize some of the notes I want to make based on the questionnaire that aren't necessarily a number that we can actually, or a yes and no, that we can actually put in the analysis. This is something I need to comment on separately. Okay, so I'll take you through there. You'll also notice, you'll notice right at the top, and throughout, you can see the links. I try and provide a link when I can, just to make it easier for you and to direct you to the product, just so you can have a look. It's you know, if I, for instance, Tulsi, I've got a link up there. I'm quite happy to have. I'm more interested in having the powder than the capsules. But at least you can click the link, you can have a look, and you can say, oh, okay, I understand what we're talking about there. Okay, and also you can see up here a video. Okay, if you haven't watched this video on grounding, watch it. Okay, very, very important. The most important thing you can do for your health right now is to ground. That's right at the top. Okay, and we come down the bottom here, among all these little notes here. Once again, you can take this back and you can read it, and you can go back and refresh your memory. Okay, some links there too. And right down the bottom, I've got some links to a few videos. Now, they're not going to be relevant to everybody, but look, 99% of the people I work with are female. So things like the video from Joe Dispenza. Oh, there should be another video there on the from Bruce Lipton on the it was on the adrenals and thyroid. Okay, well, when you see the actual letter now, the newer letter, this is obviously a little bit older, you'll see a link on there. Okay, so once again, they're just a couple of videos just to add a little bit more power to this whole consult, and something you can take away and click on and start watching, and just get a little bit more of understanding of the importance of some of this stuff that I've talked about. And well, you can see those two videos at the end there. We've got Joe Dispenza, and Joe Dispenza is all about epigenetics, understanding the importance of, you know, our mind, our thoughts, and how thoughts control our environment, and the placebo effect and whatnot. And we all know the placebo effect is probably about 35% of people will heal based on the placebo effect, which is nothing more than just how we think. We know that now, and the science behind that, and Joe Dispenza talks about that. I think it's really, really important to watch that video and start getting into the area of epigenetics, and just to make sure that you're not sabotaging your attempts to heal through your thinking, through your mind, through replaying patterns in your sort of mental state. Okay, And right down the bottom here, we've got a link to where you can buy the subs and whatnot. And down here is a standard list of some general guidelines, mainly about what you're eating and making sure that we're eating lots of high fiber foods and stuff like that. Look, I'm all around, like probably most of you are already aware of, I'm all about the environment. I'm all about providing the environment where things want to happen, as opposed to trying to force things to happen. Okay, if we want to build good gut bacteria, rather than trying to shove bacteria down your throat and get it through the whole system, get it through your acid and get it to where you need to go, I'm certainly, I emphasize a lot the importance of eating a lot of high fiber food, because it's a high fiber food that's going to provide the environment, the prebiotics for these bacteria to thrive. They will thrive if they have the environment to do so. So what's the point of taking probiotics and shoving them into a body that doesn't have the environment to actually help them flourish? Okay, and that's what's down the bottom here. Okay, so that's about it. We go through the bloods, we go through the imbalance guide, and we go through the protocol. And during the consult, I talk you through everything. All right, I explain everything. I never recommend a supplementation or a supplement without explaining why that has been recommended, how long you need to take it for, what is it going to fix, and how you're going to know it's been fixed. Okay, this is something that's grossly missing out there in wellness, in both traditional medicine and also natural medicine. It's being able to identify and be very, very specific with supplementation and knowing exactly what you're taking it for and how to tell whether you need it anymore. Okay. All right. Look, thanks very much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. And if you haven't already ordered my testing, do it. You will not regret it. It's very, very, very powerful stuff. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.